What's up, guys? Hey, welcome to another episode of the College Prep Chat. Today on the line, we're joined by Adam Lange from McNeese State University. Young strength coach, has been at a lot of different schools. I think he's doing some really cool stuff in the field of strength and conditioning. So without further ado, Adam, thank you for joining us, man.
How y'all doing? Like you said, my name's Adam Lange. I'm from Denver, Colorado. I've been in this field since 2017 was my first year of actually coaching. Been interested in it since I was a kid. Watched my dad work out every single night after work since I was in diapers. So I don't know, it's just kind of something I've always been interested in. I started off in undergrad just doing summer internships. Luckily, thank God my brother played college ball. He's really one of the main reasons why I got into this field. His strength coach had just taken a job at UCF, asking him if he wanted to intern for the summer. My brother is already doing a full-time job. He just graduated from college, and he told his old strength coach, Coach Duvall, who's now at University of Nebraska, that his little brother, that I would be interested in it. That's really like I can't thank him enough for it. So I did my first internship at UCF back in 2017. Just working football, just kind of got my toes in at first, just to check out and see if I really liked it. And did my second internship that next summer at University of Nebraska. Did my third internship after I graduated from undergrad. I went to CSU Pueblo, played football and lacrosse, graduated, went to University of Florida for 7 months, worked there the entire offseason of 2019, working with Coach Savage and that staff. They're all at Ole Miss now, but worked with them that entire summer. Just football, loved it. Got my GA-ship where I got my master's from Delta State, small Division II in Cleveland, Mississippi. Really, that's where I grew the most. I got to program and work with 9 different teams, learning how to manage my time, how to see the differences in every single sport, needs analysis of every sport, doing all that. Kind of just really learning, just kind of got thrown into the fire there as a GA and had to learn fast. So that was probably the best growing experience of my career. After being there for 2 years, received my master's in human performance, graduated, and I got my first job here at McNeese State in Lake Charles, Louisiana, where I work as the Senior Associate Director of Strength and Conditioning. So going on year 2 here, working men's and women's basketball, and then I assist with football. So it's a constant grind, but I love it, man. I never worked a day in my life. So
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. One thing that we picked up from doing a couple of these is just the journey of a strength coach and learning from a wide range of coaches, and then using all that knowledge to kind of put together your philosophy and how you want to work with your athletes. So that's awesome, man. And again, we're fired up to jump into this conversation. All right. Without further ado, let's jump in. We'll go through our first question. So let's say you get a new athlete into your program, and he's been there the whole week. He or she's been there the whole week. And you guys are sitting around as a staff at the end of the week talking about the new athletes in the program. What do you want to be able to say about that athlete, in terms of their work ethic and how they showed up?
I think I'm a big believer in just the details matter. And I think when a young athlete can come in, he or she not only works hard, but they kind of want to know why they're doing it. I think being able to get an athlete to understand the value in what we're doing and why we're doing it, I think that's huge. And also just having a young athlete who can buy in early and really pay attention to the small details that are on the program, that are instilled in the culture, all that stuff. Just being able to speak the same language as everybody else, just kind of buy-in. I think that's one of the biggest things for young athletes. Also, really just setting their egos aside. Right now, we're getting a lot of young athletes, right, who are like, Coach, I can squat more than that. I can bench more than that, this and that. really my main job when I first get a young athlete is kind of see where they're at, number one, get them moving efficiently, get them moving correctly before I put any weight on their backs, before I give them a heavy bar to press, before we clean, whatever it is. I'm a big believer in movement over maxes. You see, Coach DeCam wrote that big book on that, right? Making sure your athletes can perform the exercise safely before you even load it up.
Yeah, that's phenomenal, man. The thing that I wrote down from that is setting the ego aside. You know, you get so many guys, and everybody who comes to your program is probably the best player at their high school, right? They're the dude in their town. And when you get to the college level, everybody was that guy, right? So can you set your ego aside and, like you said, focus on the details? And doing that from the first step is a huge way to set yourself apart, especially as you first show up on campus.
Absolutely.
That's phenomenal, man. So now, I know we were touching a lot more on the behavior side of things with that. When we look at the physical side of things, what are the things that you want an athlete to be able to walk in and be able to do well? Is it, have great mobility? Is it strength? Is it conditioning? What are the big things that you guys place value on?
One of our main things that we focus on a ton is just running mechanics. Having athletes be able to properly put force in the ground, figuring out how to get an athlete in the proper acceleration angle, their power angles, all that stuff. That's a big thing that we emphasize. Another big thing is kind of just deceleration and landing mechanics.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in teaching landing mechanics before we even jump. Because I think that the landing is more important than the jump, right? Like if you have a guy who can come in as a freshman and jump a 36-inch vert, good God, this fly's bugging the hell out of me.
Louisiana, man.
No doubt. If you can have a freshman come in and jump like a 36, but he doesn't know how to stick his landing with his knees out, sitting back on his heels, putting on the brakes, right? That's just a recipe for disaster, right?
Yep.
I think that's big. Also, if I've got some young guys coming in, right, and I just want them be able to move efficiently, right? You get a lot of in the past 15 years, really, like specialization within young athletes has become one of the biggest issues in our field of strength and conditioning, right? You get kids who might be playing baseball year round, never played another sport. They're playing, like I see it a lot in like offensive linemen, right? Like they've been playing offensive line their entire lives. They've been doing kick steps their entire lives. So like, that's one of the only movements that they're efficient in. Like, I want to see if they can squat properly, if they can hinge properly. That's one of the biggest you see now is just teaching how to push their hips back, keep their back flat, keep their eyes down, and really just activate their glutes. That's one of the biggest things. But I found that like specialization within young athletes has made it a little bit harder to get kids to progress quicker.
Yeah.
So it's really challenged patience of strength and conditioning coaches because like you get kids that might not be as efficient in certain things as some others.
100%. 100%. We preach to our kids the multi-sport, right? Yep. Being in a different plane of movement, like for you with a basketball player, right? That's a great sport for change of direction, vertical forces, all that stuff. But if they're doing the same thing and they're jumping at that volume without a change of pace with their movement, like that's a cumulative effect that's going to go down with their knees.
Absolutely.
So having that movement quality standpoint, I think is huge. And one thing you also touched on with the deceleration, right? Like you can only produce what you can absorb. So if you increase your ability to absorb force, you're just going to increase your ability to produce force.
Yep.
And then with the injury prevention side of things, both on that force absorption and on the multi-sport, like the better that you are with both of those, the lower your chances are of injury. I think that's a phenomenal thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's awesome, man. All right. So touching onto the nutrition and hydration side of things, what are some actionable items that you can give to athletes that are looking to maximize their performance through nutrition?
Okay, 100%. One thing that I learned, I actually learned this from my brother who was playing collegiate football, right? He used to make me eat 7 meals a day when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Right. 7 meals. And that included 3 to 4 main meals. And that included maybe 3 to 4 just smaller snacks, right? Lots of fruits and veggies, especially for recovery. Those antioxidants help a lot with recovery, especially like in the strength phase. I don't let my athletes do anything for soreness reduction during my hypertrophy phase when I'm trying to get athletes to gain weight. But when we're trying to get a lot stronger, when those reps go down, that weight goes up, they can get in the ice tub. They can have all the little antioxidant drinks they want, right? Mm-hmm. But I think you get a lot of athletes now, a lot of younger athletes, they'll be like, well, coach, if I gain weight, I'll be slower. Well, coach, if I gain weight, I can't jump as high. I won't be as quick. That is completely false. So you young guys who are listening to this, like, that is completely false. One of my first ever talks with one of my mentors who's now in Nebraska, Coach Straub, I asked him why we program the way we program. Like, why do we go from hypertrophy to strength to power? Like, why is it in that order? And he told me, he said, because we're building bigger bullets. We got to get them bigger before we get them stronger, before we get them faster. Right? Because the more force, the bigger I can be, the bigger I am, the more potential I have to be strong. The stronger I am, the more potential I have to produce force. Right? The more force I produce, the more potential I have fast. And you can't get big, you can't gain weight, you can't gain muscle if you don't eat.
Yep.
We're really just making sure you're getting enough protein every single day, enough carbs, enough calories, period, to perform at your top one day and then recover for that next day so you can go 100% the next day. We always say nutrition is queen and the weight room is king, and we all know who runs the show at the end of the day.
I'm stealing that, man. That's phenomenal. I love the building bigger bullets. You know, I saw a saying the other day that said the howitzer is undefeated. You know, if you think about that, it's like that old Jimmy Radcliffe saying of bullets, not bowling balls. Right? Yep. And through nutrition, you can truly change how you perform. Like, we've got a kid who he just went off to SMU to play linebacker down there. He's been there for 7 months, and going down there and working with their performance nutrition, he's put on 25 pounds of good weight, right? Yeah. He's gone from 215 to 240, right? And his 40 time has dropped, right? It's like you put on the right type of weight and you stack that on with the proper strength training, like, things are going to work out phenomenal. And good weight is the biggest side of it. Like, you can't flex fat, and fat doesn't fly. Yeah. You know, so it starts with, you know, proper foods, proper nutrition, and then consistency with that.
100%.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. All right. We're going to jump into what we call our rapid fire round. So it's going to be 5 questions, kind of get a feel for how you think and have a little fun with it. So what's the best music to train to for you?
What's the best what?
Music.
Oh, man, I love me some heavy metal, like Metallica or anything like Tool, Slipknot, whatever.
Yep. We've done a few of these so far, and every single guy has said metal. I think it's a strength coach thing, man.
I bet. We're the opposite of all of our athletes when it comes to that.
Right. Once you become my age, it'll be country. We in here listening to Dierks Bentley instead of Pantera. All right. For yourself, would you prefer to bench press or back squat?
Back squat.
Back squat. What's your best sports movie of all time?
Best sports movie of all time. Probably Miracle. I love Miracle.
Miracle. I like it. Let's say you have a kid who shows up to your program. Let's go with the football player. Would you rather him be able to do 20 perfect pull-ups or do 20 reps at 225 on the bench press? 20
perfect pull-ups.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if he's a big.
Yeah. I mean, you get a big and do 20. The side note, I was working with a guy who was with the Chicago Bears, Tommy Harris, way back in the day. And he was picked number 16 overall, I believe, by the Bears out of Oklahoma. And he asked him, he said, well, why did you guys choose to pick me? On the draft board, he was like 3 or 4 down, the top rankings. And he said, why did you choose to pick me? And they said at the combine, before you did your 225 bench press, you did 16 wide grip pull-ups. And when we saw that, we knew it was a wrap. And I mean, he went on to be an all-pro multiple years. And
there you go.
There's a real thing, that relative strength. It's a real thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can't pump out 20 reps of 225 without some strong lats.
That's true. 100%, man. All right. And then last question of the rapid fire. This one's a little bit out of left field, but it's been bouncing around the gym the last couple of weeks. Let's say all 50 states were go to war with each other, right? Mano y mano, every state for themselves. What state wins?
I'd have to say Louisiana, man. These raging Cajuns down here, man, they're a little crazy.
They'll hunker down, huh? Every answer has been a southern state. Most people are saying Texas or Florida, but every answer has been a southern state, that's for sure.
I mean, we get hide in the swamps down here. Like, no one sees us coming.
Yeah. See, up here in Colorado, I don't think we'd last long.
I don't think so. Unless they go up, unless they attack Colorado and they can't deal with that attitude.
It could be.
I don't know, man.
The side, they got all the guns in the South, though. And then last one in this. What's a piece of advice that you give yourself if you could go talk to yourself at 16?
At 16, piece of advice. I'd probably tell myself to be a little more, probably a little more patient. Mm-hmm. Probably a little patient. I worked really hard, man. I was a weight room fiend, all the time, running, doing sprinting, lifting all the time. But when things didn't go my way, sometimes I took it very hard instead of just being patient. I should have just kept working, right? I did, but at times I just let things just get to me too much. Yeah,
absolutely, man. I love that. All right. And then as we wrap this up, we're asking everybody to leave us with a quote, whether it's a quote that inspires you or a mantra that you live by. What's a quote we can pass on to these young athletes?
Yeah. Okay. I got a great quote. So we're reading, my basketball team, it's called Today Matters. And it was actually straight out of the first chapter of the book. The quote was, "The greatest gap in life is between knowing and doing."
That's awesome.
I feel that everybody in this world knows exactly what they got to do. There's no secret to anything, right? It's just hard work, finding your own way, right? Just grinding. But not everyone's willing to do it. That's what separates successful people.
Yeah, the dreamers and the doers, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's phenomenal, man. And you said that was Today Matters was the book?
Yep.
I'm gonna add that to the list, man. Hey, that's phenomenal, man. Adam, thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Your insight on all this. I really, really appreciate it. And I think there's a lot of stuff in here that whether it's a high school athlete, a high school coach, or a parent, anybody that impacts the life of a high school athlete that wants to play in college, I think there's a lot of stuff in here that they can take away and then hopefully put these high school kids in a better position to hit the ground running when they do get to the college level.
For sure.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much. Best of luck to you as we wrap up the summer and this next football season and basketball season down there at McNeese.
Okay. Yeah, good deal, man. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Absolutely, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I know we'll be in touch. I'll pause this real quick.